Hey fam, welcome to the Faith Table, where we serve up real talk on life, purpose, and walking with God. I'm your girl Maya, and today we are joining my friends, Ray and Kelly, as they take a deep dive into what to do when life gets heavy and having resilient faith.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be diving in.
So today, we're tackling something pretty universal, really. Those really tough times life throws at us.
Yeah.
We're calling this exploration resilient faith. But not just the Sunday morning kind, you know.
Right, not just the feeling.
We mean that deep down strength you find when life, well, punches you in the gut.
Mm-hmm. Because honestly, who hasn't felt that? Been there.
Exactly. So, our mission, if you like, in this deep dive is to uncover some maybe soul-level truths.
Truth for what, exactly?
For holding on, standing strong, and crucially, moving forward when things get rough.
So where do we start?
Let's start with divine intervention. Those moments where things really should have gone terribly wrong.
But didn't.
But somehow, yeah, you just didn't.
It's a compelling idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because framing resilient faith practically like this, it moves it away from just theory.
Right. It makes it about real experience, navigating the hard stuff.
A shared experience, really. It resonates.
Think about it for yourself listening. Maybe a near miss in the car.
Or a job loss that, looking back now, actually opened a better door.
Yes. Or even a relationship ending that, well, only made sense way later.
Mm-hmm.
And what strikes me here is that this intervention, it isn't always, big flashing lights.
No, not always dramatic.
Sometimes it's quiet, a subtle nudge, a closed door that protected you from something.
Or just a delay, something that slowed you down and maybe spared you from something worse down the road.
Exactly. So take a second, you listening. Think about a time that felt like a loss initially. But looking back, can you see maybe a thread of protection in it?
That reflection is so important, isn't it? Because when you're in it, the pain can really blind you.
You miss those subtle shifts that might actually be working for you. And seeing them later, that builds trust.
Yeah, a deeper kind of trust. And that connects right into Psalm 124, doesn't it?
It really does.
Psalm 124. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side.
Such a powerful opening.
Survival testimony. I love that phrase.
It's visceral.
It's people who've been through the storm saying, we made it through because of something bigger. It's an anchor.
Right. So it's not just remembering hardship. It's finding a pattern of support.
Exactly. It reframes the past. Not just things we endured, but actual evidence of being sustained.
Yeah. And that perspective, it leads us straight to someone like the Apostle Paul.
Paul. Yeah. Someone, our source says, had that built different kind of faith.
Felt different. I like that. Describe it.
Well, think about it. He's in prison, not exactly inspiring circumstances.
Hardly.
And yet he's writing letters filled with hope, talking about freedom from prison, mentoring others while dealing with his own stuff. That's the key, isn't it? This kind of faith, it's forged. It's not just stumbled upon.
Forged, not found. Hammered out in the difficulties.
And it's active. It wasn't passive acceptance. It was like engaging with his reality, but through this lens of hope.
Right. And his instruction to Timothy, fight the good fight of faith.
He wasn't saying that from an armchair, was he?
No way. He was speaking from deep endurance, from his own battles.
So that brings up a question for you listening, right?
Yeah.
What does it actually look like to fight for your faith? Especially when things are tough, not just on a good day.
Good question. Like on a Wednesday when everything feels heavy, not just Sunday morning.
Exactly. We often wait to feel strong before we act in faith.
Yeah, that's true. We wait for the feeling.
But what if the strength shows up after we say yes, after we take this step?
What if obedience, that act of stepping out, is what actually builds the resilience we thought we needed first?
That flips the script, doesn't it? Action first, maybe strength follows.
It really does. And it ties into another point. You don't need to be perfect to pour into others.
Oh, that's huge. Flawlessness isn't required.
Just faithfulness. Someone is assigned to your testimony, even if it's still unfolding.
That it takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Your messy, ongoing story can still help someone.
Totally liberating. Okay, let's connect this to the experience of many listening now. Millennials, Gen X.
Right.
There's just so much juggling, isn't there? Side hustles, caregiving, money worries, mental health.
Trying to find spiritual ground and all that. Plus, recessions, pandemics, student loans.
Layoffs, and this constant pressure to have it all together.
Ugh, yeah. That impossible standard.
What if the goal isn't having it all together?
Okay. What's the alternative?
What if it's just about trusting God in the mess, right in the middle of it all?
That changes things. Resilience isn't perfection then. It's just continuing to show up.
Yeah. Showing up even when you're uncertain, overwhelmed, it's okay not to have it all figured out.
That feels more doable, more human.
And think about Paul again. Writing scripture while storm-tossed, pouring out wisdom from prison. It mirrors so many people today who've had to, build while grieving, serve while suffering, lead while limping.
That's powerful phrasing. Lead while limping.
Real, raw, refined.
Not polished.
Authentic. Exactly. It's forged in the real world with all its volatility.
And that authenticity, that's where the real strength lies. It's interesting to connect this to historical figures, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Olaudah Equiano, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass.
People who faced unimaginable adversity.
They weren't perfect people.
No, but they were persistent.
So persistent. And that faith, that persistence, it literally breaks generational chains.
Think about Equiano. His story.
Yeah, fighting abolition just by telling his truth, his life story.
No social media, no massive platform.
Just his narrative. But it changed laws, cracked systems, because truth paired with faith, that's a powerful force.
Wow. So resilient faith isn't just about personal struggles. It's also about facing down huge systemic things, like slavery, like silence.
Absolutely. It broadens the whole idea. You carry that same fire, that same grit, that same grace.
Connecting us to that legacy.
Yeah. You are the answered prayers of those who could only whisper hope. That's grounding, isn't it?
It really is, especially thinking about the pressures on millennials and Gen X now.
Right. Inheriting broken systems, maybe fewer resources, expectations from all sides.
But maybe that pressure isn't just a burden.
What do you mean?
Maybe it's preparation for a generational purpose.
Interesting way to frame it. Pressure is preparation, which brings us to the purpose of trials themselves.
Trials are a guarantee, no escaping them.
But the flip side, transformation, that's your inheritance.
Okay, that's hopeful.
And James chapter 1 says, count it all joy when you face trials, which sounds crazy.
A little counterintuitive, yeah. It's not saying enjoy the pain.
No, it's saying the trial does good. It teaches you about real peace, the cost of faith, the depth of grace, things you don't learn when life is easy.
So the insight is finding the purpose in the pain.
Yeah. Instead of just asking, when will this end? Ask.
What if the fire is where God is forming me?
Exactly. Shaping character, removing stuff that doesn't serve you, strengthening what sustains you.
Shifting the question from when to what. What's being revealed in me right now?
Yeah. And this leads right into the trap of comparison.
Oh, yes. Especially in our, scroll culture.
It's so easy to look at others' highlight reels and feel like you're falling behind.
Calls comparison a peace stealer, which it is.
Definitely. Remember the story? Peter asks Jesus about John. What about him?
And Jesus basically says,
focus on your lane. Mind your own business, essentially.
Divine wisdom right there. Simple but profound.
It's a reminder. Your assignment has a different terrain, different pace, different destination.
You're not supposed to be on the same track as everyone else.
No. You were never meant to mimic. You were meant to move with God, your unique path.
That's freeing. Okay, so focusing on our own path, what else helps build this resilience?
Well, there's this idea of divine pruning. Sounds a bit harsh, maybe.
Pruning, like in gardening.
Yeah. God sometimes removing things, maybe friendships, habits, even old beliefs that won't bear fruit in the next season.
So letting go can actually be necessary for growth.
Letting go is holy, and sometimes separation is sacred. It makes space.
Okay, that reframes endings. And what about adding something in, like rest?
Yes. Rest is huge, especially against the backdrop of hustle culture.
We're told to grind constantly.
But rest is biblical. Jesus rested. God rested.
It's not laziness then.
No, it's obedience. It's restoration. Spiritual warfare against a culture that idolizes grind over grace.
Wow. Spiritual warfare. That's a strong take.
So give yourself permission, pause, breathe, unplug. Your worth isn't your productivity.
It's based on belonging, right? Not doing.
Exactly. Your worth is inherent, which connects to the final piece. Self-talk. Affirmation.
The words we speak to ourselves.
Yeah. The power of life and death is in the tongue. That's scripture.
So we should actively declare good things, even if we don't feel them yet.
Precisely. Declare affirmations based on faith. I am loved. I am chosen. I am called. I am healed. I am whole.
Even if it feels like you're just saying words.
Yeah, because sometimes your words are the seed that will produce the harvest.
Planting seeds with your words.
So even when life feels heavy, speak light, speak truth, speak future.
Because resilient faith isn't about never struggling.
No. Resilient faith doesn't mean you never cry.
It means you never quit.
Exactly.
We've touched on recognizing that subtle guidance, divine intervention.
And understanding faith is often forged through the hard times, like with Paul.
Learning from historical figures, their persistence.
Yeah, and navigating the specific pressures of today, especially for millennials and Gen X.
Seeing the purpose in trials, avoiding that comparison trap.
Remembering our unique paths and the need for pruning, for real rest.
And finally, the power of our own words, those affirmations.
So as you go from here, maybe take a moment. How does this connect with your own story, your own journey?
Reflect on those times you have held on, stood firm, kept going.
And maybe consider this final thought. Perhaps the very weight you feel you're carrying right now.
Yeah.
Perhaps that weight itself is the evidence, proof of the resilient faith already inside you, just waiting to be fully seen, fully used.
That was deep. The resilient faith is already in you, just waiting to be used. All right, fam. We are at the family faith table, so it's time for you to join in this family conversation and let me know your thoughts on this topic of resilient faith. I'll be checking for you in the comments. And as always, keep showing up at the faith table and keep believing. This is Maya, signing off. Love y'all. Stay blessed.